Hi folks, Brian back here with you again on another episode of Harmonic Leadership. Today we're going to be talking about the visioning exercise. This is in the Established Baselines chapter 1 of the book. And it's a little ways in the ebook version. And the visioning exercise is something that I use with every leader who I'm working with, be it an executive coaching client or someone going through one of my leadership programs. This is going to be one of the foundational pieces that I have them to complete, a self-reflection activity, early in the process. Because without it, we don't know where we want to go through the process. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this episode, is creating that vision of where you want to be, the purpose that you want to bring to your work, to your career, to your leadership in order to have the most positive impact. So I'm going to ask you to do a little thought experiment with me here. If you're a musician, it should be an easy one to do. If you're not a musician, you might have to imagine a bit more. But let's say that you are part of an orchestra and you're playing a symphony for an audience. You're actually in a concert hall on the stage, and your player to the left and to the right and throughout the orchestra has their music in front of them on the stand with the many pages that it's going to take to play this musical score. But you forgot yours, and they didn't have a spare copy. So on your music stand, you don't see anything. You kind of remember bits and pieces of it, but you don't remember the whole thing because it's a 40-page score that you're going to have to turn through as you played along with your colleagues. And without that vision of being able to know what note to play with your instrument at what time in sync with everyone else, you're not going to get there. You're going to cause problems actually for the rest of the orchestra because you don't know where you're going. Leadership is much the same way. If we're just kind of willy-nilly going through our leadership days without clear vision of where we want to grow into in our terms of our leadership development, then we're never going to get there, and we're going to cause problems along the way. So where the visioning exercise comes in is, as you see at the top of the page here, to reach your leadership goals, there must be a clear vision of where you're currently at and where you want to reach to. It's the same as taking a hike. If you don't know your destination on the hike, you could easily get lost, and you're not going to get there. You're not going to be as effective, as efficient as you could be with that hike. So this self-reflection exercise is to help you to create that map of where you want to be. And you see that there's 3 facets, and each of these has a dedicated page that you're asked to fill out. First is where I am right now. This is to create the baseline, current position, current state of leadership development. Then in 1 year, where I want to be. And this is not just in terms of like position. This is not an exercise of just saying, hey, I want to be successful. I want to get to that position and make so much money. It's not that at all. It's a facet, as you'll see in the thought-provoking questions that you'll be asked to answer. But more than that, what impact do I want to have on my team, on the organization, and in the world as well? And then I ask you to really get some visioning going and think 5 years out. I'll tell you that this used to be 2 years, and I worked with a number of clients looking at 2 years out, but I found that there wasn't enough distinction between 1 year and 2 year. So I really want you to dig deep and think long term, and think 5 years out. And that provides you that longer path of, hey, you know, I want to climb this mountain now, but I want to climb the next mountain and the next mountain. And in 5 years, I can still see that mountain peak that I want to get to. It's going to take some doing, but by seeing it and by knowing where it is and by knowing the path of how I want to get there, I stand a much better chance of actually making that trek to get to where I want to be. So let's jump right into it, and you can follow along in the book if you've chosen to capture the book or acquire the book. If not, that's fine. You can freeze the video and just jot these down on a device and complete it on your own. So this is page 17 where you find the Where I Am visioning piece. And this is just to create that baseline view, the current state of your leadership development. So where are you at in terms of your leadership position? And if you are an individual contributor, that's fine too, because as an individual contributor, you're still a leader. You're still leading the way to find new ways of doing things. It's asking, what are you good at? What are you skilled at? What are you scared of? All of us have fears that we don't like to show. We don't like being vulnerable, but it's important to explore it because that can help us to know what might get in the way of being able to reach our goals. What am I confident at? What am I challenged by? What is really difficult for me to overcome that I can concentrate on to get better at? What am I frustrated with? Most everyone in any kind of organization does have some frustrations, and those frustrations can get in the way of our development. What am I concerned with? What are my focus areas where I'm really wanting to concentrate on? Which leads to the next one. What am I concentrating on? What am I currently concentrating on that I want to provide focus to? And then the last one, wishing I could be more. So what is it that I wish I could be more of? Okay, so that's the baseline, where I'm at right now. And then the second part of the exercise is to consider the 1 year out. What do I want to develop to become through this developmental period? If you're following along in the book, it might be the time it's going to take to really read and explore the book, which I suggest to people you take a full year to piece your way through the book and really dig into the sections and the exercises and the assessments. If you're part of a leadership program, when I teach through Harmonic Leadership, I teach it as a 1 year program. So you'll naturally be developing over the course of a year. So think about in 1 year, where do you want to be in the leadership position of what? And it might be the same position you currently have. Absolutely fine. We can grow within position so we can then prepare for next position. Or you may have that next position already in mind that you want to grow to within this year. You want to be more knowledgeable of. In order to get there, I need to have increased knowledge. What do I want to be better at? What do I want to really work on this year to focus to get better at? What do I want to be skilled at? Not just better at certain things, but there are certain skills. So you may have heard the term KSA, or knowledge, skills, and abilities, and I use that often in my work. Knowledge is the general knowledge of how to do things. Skills is actually applying that knowledge in more of a technique. And then the abilities are abilities to be able to perform that skill to a certain quality level or ability level. So then less scared of. What do I want to be less scared of in a year? We explored on the current state what we're currently scared of. What do we want to be less scared of? Often the same thing that you'll find from the previous page. What do I want to be confident at in a year's time? Something that I don't feel the confidence now, but I want to grow so I can approach a situation with that feeling of confidence, with that feeling of I can do this and I know that I can. Then next is I want to be overcoming. What are the challenges that I currently am finding that I do want to be in the process of overcoming? Maybe not fully overcome at that point, but at least overcoming at that point. What do I want to be growing in? We should have a growth mindset, a continual growth mindset. And if we're having goals that we're reaching, what can I grow in next? So we can always remain in that growth mindset. I want to be less whatever. This could be less worried, less scared, less concerned, less whatever fits within your world. And then more. I want to be more, and here again, it's wide open. It could be anything. In fact, I'm not even going to give you any prompts here because I want your mind to just be open. I want to be more what? All right, so that's the 1 year view. Okay, the last page, which is page 19, is in 5 years. I want to be what? And this is where you're really stretching. You're really looking long term at that far mountain peak that you want to climb to. I want to be in the leadership position of, And it can be something very specific that you definitely have your sights on, or it can be more generic. I want to have more whatever authority, more ability to influence in these areas through this leadership position. Or it could be a very defined position. I want to be VP of blankety blank blank blank. Next, I want to be fully capable of. We're working on things now through this part of the development phase. And in 5 years, you can really develop a lot where you have a full-blown capability. We've talked earlier about competencies. Leadership competencies feed into or are the building blocks of a capability. So what do you want to be fully capable of at that point? Able to have overcome. What do you want to be able to have overcome during that time frame? And this could be anything. It could be things in your work life. It could be even things in your personal life that are affecting your work life. Next is concentrating on. Maintaining that growth mindset. I still want to be growing in the next phrase, but concentrating on certain things. These are often related because if I'm concentrating on something, I'm often growing in that area as well. And then jumping past the still growing in, since we covered that in the last description, I want to be viewed as. Here again, it's wide open. It could be something as simple as I want to be viewed as more leaderly. I want to be viewed as a subject matter expert. I want to be viewed as more kind, more caring, perhaps, following the main theme of the book, that inclusive, mindful caring. Next, I want to be able to. Here again, wide open. I want to be able to do this, that, or the other thing. I want to be even less. And this could be something that you've been working on through the course of this first year, and you still want to continue working on it over the course of the next 5 years. And the same with even more, relating it back to the previous page with the less and more. And then considered great at. You've heard me say it before, and I'll be saying it often through the course of these videos, and you'll find it in the book. I'm wanting you to be able to find your greatness. We're all great. Each and every one of us have greatness within us. And the hope is that through the course of reading the book, you're going to find that greatness and release it and share it with the world, because each of us can do great things in the world. And I'm not just talking about being successful at the work that you do and getting a higher position and getting more money. I mean, making the world a better place. We have work to do in this world. When you look at all of the environmental, social, and governance issues that we have within the world, we all have a responsibility to work to address those. And oftentimes it can be through our work. And to distill it to the main theme of the book, care. Caring for others, caring for the group, caring for the work, and caring for the self. If we can create that balanced, caring mindset within our own minds and help others to create that as well, we're naturally going to be addressing all of those environmental, social, and governance issues that we need to be addressing in the world to make the world a better place. All right, so that is the visioning exercise. I invite you to really dig deep and take your time on this. It should be taking you days to actually fill this out, because in doing so, you're going to be deeply examining your current state and deeply examining where you want to be. All right, well, I wish you the best in completing this. Be well.